recommending approval of the third interim report and positive certification as presented. We have Ms. Dora Sue here, I believe, to go ahead and lead us through the presentation of the third interim and to ask for your approval. Dora Sue.
Good evening, everybody. Tonight is the second reading for the board to look at the third interim. So there are altogether 4 items being uploaded on the agenda online. One is the two of them are the 2 spreadsheet, which is in legal size, of indicating the 2 options. So option 1 is the spreadsheet with the 5 out of 7. FTE being cut. And then for option 2 is the 7 FTE out of the 7 are being eliminated. So on the spreadsheet, it will show you exactly how it affecting the next school year fiscal condition and the year after that, which is fiscal year 16-17. But today, I'm going to spend the time going over the assumptions that I have to make up the 2 spreadsheets that you're looking at right now. So basically, I want to point out to you that the assumptions, the changes, are pretty well. Oh. The assumptions are changes pretty well from the general January budget proposal to the May revised. And then if you go down to the middle of the sheet, you will see enrollment. And then on the enrollment, I just want to let you know the 695 for 14-15 is the CalPAT certification number as of October 30th, 2014. And the next 2 years, the 687 and 674 is a very fiscally conservative way of projecting using the 5 years average. And then a little bit below that is the ADA numbers. And for 14-15, the ADA number is the actual P2 number. And we are projecting at the same level for 15-16 and 16-17, which is at 93% of the enrollment. And then another point that I want to bring to your attention is regarding the health and welfare, which is the medical premiums, is a practice for Emery to project an annual 4% increase from the prior year. So now we go to the next page, which is actually looking at the funding change. And on the first line, it says state aid. I want to bring to your attention that the state aid number, it includes the supplemental and concentration grant. So what is on the supplemental concentration is already combined into the state aid figure. And then the last item that I want to point to your attention is regarding the pass-through funding, which is including the ROP, the Cal State East Bay, and the BISA program. These are pass-through funding. They are not additional money to the district. We receive money in, but at the same time, we pay out the money right away through the payroll. So any questions on the assumptions?
Just to clarify some of the numbers, the wherever you list a percent change, like LCFF gap close, the second line, or annual COLA, the first line, X percent to Y percent, later you have numbers. That's a change from percent or numbers based on the January budget that the governor came out with to the May revise.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Those are the change from the January budget proposal to the May revised.
Okay. The enrollment, as you said, is a conservative estimate. As you explained it to me, that's a 5-year average.
Yes, for 15, 16, and 16, 17.
Right. And as we just discussed, I think the board, at least some of us up here, don't want to accept those figures as our enrollment going forward, and we want to be increasing enrollment. And so I think we, while this is appropriate for the third interim, which is what we're telling the state, even under conservative estimates, we have a positive certification. We're going to meet our obligations 3 years out. I think we want to communicate to the public that we're not accepting declining enrollment as the inevitability here. In fact, our request and requirement is that the board, that the district improve on enrollment.
Okay, then in that case, when I'm going to do the budget adoption for 15, 16, I will budget the next year budget as the current enrollment, which is the 695.
Yep.
Because 695, again, is the actual CalPAT certification number.
That's where we're currently at, so that,
Yes.
that would be at least maintaining our current enrollment
Yeah.
as a
Okay.
conservative expectation. The we had a question earlier about why the benefits were going up so much. One of the earlier comments, and I just wanted to point out that on the back page, the STRS and the PERS, which is the portion of payroll that the district is required to put into the retirement funds for are certificated as STRS, and the PERS is the classified pension fund. Those have gone up quite substantially by state law based on a budget deal last year. And basically the state was, I want to say, $75 billion short of its liability for retirement. And the solution was to increase, basically put most of the solution on the back of districts. So districts have to pay, it's definitely a problem that needs to be resolved, but it's not that the state took half and districts took half and teachers took a portion. Most of the solution went on districts. So what that means in reality is exactly what you're seeing. We have the same amount of money, but we have less for operations because we're paying more for retirement. So it's just another aspect of the way that the state is underfunding our public school system. But that you can see that those numbers go up quite dramatically, from 8% to 12%, and by 2021 it's going to be 18%.
You're right, because look at the STRS. It's going to go up from 8.88% to over 12% in the next 2 years. And again, you're correct that most of the increase is going to be funded by the school districts, not the employee or the state government. And look at PERS, it's from 11.7% to 15% in 2 years. And workers' comp, 1.8% to 2.18%. So these are additional costs when you have the payroll. These are all additional costs to the payroll. And it's going to be picked up mainly by the school district. At the same time, you are not seeing additional money from the state to cover these additional fringe benefits.
Okay, those were my questions and comments on the assumptions. Any others from board members? Yeah, Mayor, Member Mary.
I have one, Doris Sue, having to do with the one-time discretionary. I may have missed it, but what was that for fiscal year 15-16?
The one-time discretionary is under the May revised that you are entitled to additional $601 per ADA. So if you go 601 times what we have on the ADA, which is 641, then you will get about $385,000. This is one-time money only, and it's unrestricted. It's for general purpose.
So the governor has, it is to pay down mandates to the extent we have certain category of mandates, things that we did, the state required us to do, but they never paid us for. Yes, so it's to offset that. But we don't have that much in mandates. But it is one-time money, so it's not an ongoing expense that we can count on. The state's going to come back with it again next year, and it's not in the. You can see the projections because it's only so so that's what that is. Do you want to present the multi-year projection, or did you? What it was?
It's going to be too small for everybody in here to look at. But you want to go over a little bit on the two options?
No, just the option that's been adopted.
Okay, which is option 1, 5 out of the 7. The change is not going to take effect until the 15-16, but under the 15-16 school year, you will see the savings of the 5 position in the classified salary. But at the same time, we are adding another 2 playground supervising position on it. So these are all reflected in the classified salary and at the same time in the employee benefits column.
But maybe just explain what the ending fund balances are and the deficits are in 15-16, 16-17.
Okay, 15-16, the projected ending fund balance under the unrestricted program is going to be 2.1 million. And then under the restricted program, it's going to be 157,000 to a total of $2.3 million. Part of it, you're not going to see a deficit spending on this year is mainly because we talk about the custodian salary are able to move out from the general fund to the RDA money. And we did it in this year about 363,000. And we are projecting we could able to continue that practice, but with only 350,000 for 15-16. But now if you look at 16-17, this is the year that we can no longer able to do it. So you will see on the, where it said, weren't you over expenditures? And then you will see actually we come into a decrease in fund balance of $723,000 in 16-17. And part of that reason is mainly to do with we are no longer able to do that kind of journal entry, and the payroll has to go back to the general fund.
Okay,
All right?
thank you.
Okay.
Other questions from board members? Do you need a formal adoption of the third interim?
I don't need a certification, but I do need the board to approve the third interim. So the staff is recommending the board to go ahead to approve the third interim.
Okay, do we have a motion on the third interim report?
So moved.
I'll second.
And that was to approve. Roll call on approval of the third interim report motion.
President Affel,
Yes?
Vice President Dice,
Yes.
Member Merriam,
Yes.
Member Pats.
Yes.
The third interim report is approved by a vote of 4-0. Superintendent, would you like